ये बालवीर सीज़न 3 का फुल एपिसोड 3 है, जिसमें हम देखेंगे कि किस तरह बालवीर तुएर और बाबेल को मारता है गलती से और किस तरह उत्तन बालवीर की सारी शक्तियाँ उससे छीन लेता है। अगर आप सबसे पहले सीज़न 3 के एपिसोड्स देखना चाहते हैं तो मैजिक वर्ल्ड को सब्सक्राइब कर दें और इस वीडियो को लाइक कर दें ताकि अगले सीज़न 3 के फुल एपिसोड्स आपके पास सबसे जल्दी आएँ। तो इस एपिसोड को शुरू करते हैं। Today's episode is about the episode 3 of Baalveer 3, and we are going to talk about all the details that we will be seeing officially next week, but on Magic World we are going to portray and display the third episode of Baalveer with all our hard work and effort put into this episode. Now, of course, the teaser shows us that Agil has arrived on Earth and she is wreaking havoc, and with the help of Mahajadu, which is a cube which has rings in it. It is definitely inspired or just directly taken from Spider-Man No Way Home, the movie, and this is a device, or we can say an artifact of Doctor Strange. So we have to make it really clear that Baalveer 3 took this as an inspiration or just ripped it off and used it as their own prop, which is just a very big deal for a Baalveer show. And we see how Baalveer accidentally, or he was trapped into attacking Tuer and Babel, just mistakenly defeating them or taking their lives. And we see how Shashmar really takes this as an opportunity to downplay Baalveer and really, you can say, manipulate Uttan into taking away all of Baalveer's powers. Now, of course, this just shows us that Shashmar's role as a character is definitely one that could be or can be very well be compared to the characters of Naraz and Taraspari, and how he is always jealous of Baalveer. And yes, we did hear him say that he was once Baalveer himself, so it really just shows that he was really jealous of Baalveer, which is understandable considering he always wants to outshine Baalveer, considering he was Baalveer himself. And this is something that we learned in the behind the scenes footage that was taken out by the officials of Sony Sub and Sony Live. And of course, we see that this jealousy is always fueled by you can say Shashmar, and we definitely will see, and hopefully we will see how Shashmar's character as a whole has development and the character arc is set for it, because characters like these are definitely gray characters, and they are, or they could just very well be just negative or positive, and it really depends on how they manage to go with these character arcs. Now, as of now, it looks like Shashmar is, like Bhaimar, is loyal to Shashwan Lok, and we know that Bhaimar was also loyal to Kal Lok, and of course he really didn't have any loyalty for Dimnasa, just like how he doesn't have any loyalty for Baalveer. And on the other hand, he actually downplays him at every chance he's given. And we are reminded that whatever points he brought up were not wrong. He was in the right to, you can say, point out that Baalveer broke the rules, and Baalveer really denies, or you can say evades this accusation of not having the proper code for battle by saying that he, in the final, won the battle. And of course, one more thing that really just washed away all the hard work of the first episode was this amazing fight between Baalveer and the fake Agil. And it just shows that they really don't care about their entire hard work, because that fight, just being a made up thing, really takes away all the, you can say, power that a character puts in for us to just assume that they are not as good, or we can say it wasn't the real character. And yes, we see that the argument is heated. This is a heated argument between Shishmar and Baalveer, and of course, being the higher authority, Utan just dismisses, and he says, like a really good father figure, that Baalveer should follow the rules and he should not break the rules, which is a good thing. It is definitely, the rules are there so that people can abide by them. And we see that Baalveer has shown to be really, you can say, cocky in a way, and he is just really overly proud of himself. And this will definitely be broken in the next episode, in episode 3, in really today's episode. And of course, we are going to upload all the episodes of Baalveer 3 only on Magic World, and you can watch all of these episodes, and you can hear all about these episodes and our first impressions and reactions, and what plot holes that Baalveer 3 is creating with these episodes that will only be filled with the help of Magic World. And now, one more thing that will be crushed is Baalveer's arrogance, Baalveer's, you can say, ego, and how how Baalveer's vanity is crushed in this episode, when Baalveer himself gets his entire powers taken. Or it will definitely be in the next episode, in episode 4, you can say the jail, or you can say the imprisonment of Baalveer's powers, and really just extracting all the powers so that he can earn them, which is a plot that is really very similar to the one where when Chalpari kidnapped Meher, and how Baalveer, without his powers and with the help of his friends, brought Meher back with no harm to her, which really brought all of his powers back as well. And of course, the children who helped Baalveer and Baalveer's friends were invited to the ceremony, because it would have been just wasted of all their hard work if they weren't even invited to a theme where they put so much hard work in. And of course, this goes both ways. And in Baalveer 3, we will get to see this in the upcoming episodes, where Baalveer earns his powers back, and his powers along with the super Baalveer. And of course, we really hope that this ultimate Baalveer powers that Baalveer was going to get in the Kasam Kaal ceremony really changes his costume to the one that we portrayed and we displayed, which is a winged costume, a really good teal colored, along with a mix of gold and white, is given to him. And we really hope that is the case. And of course, back in, or we can say we just are introduced to Himpash Lok, which is the evil realm. Now, of course, this isn't even a nitpick, it's a big plot hole, which is the same animation, the exact same copy-paste animation of Kal-Lok to Veer-Lok and Veer-Lok to Kal-Lok, and Dharti-Lok, quote-unquote, is used, that the planet-to-planet transformation, or whatever it is called, the transition from one planet to the other, is stolen from Baalveer Returns and is used and pasted. So it was copied from Baalveer Returns and it is now pasted on Baalveer 3. Now, of course, if they really wanted to use that, there is no problem, but then they used it to They just didn't even try to add ice or any kind of, you can say, whiteness to the Himbash look. And yes, this is a major plot hole, which is it definitely is a mixture of Veer look and definitely Parilog, because we can see a woman's face and then we see a lion waterfall behind or just right beside Uttan. So we have no idea why they decided to put it there, because no mention of Shaurya was present. So we have no idea what they are going to do with this plot hole. And then we also see that they mentioned that Agil has used this weapon that we will later talk about. And this episode, these two episodes are really juicy to talk about, because they have a lot of entertainment and they have a lot of mistakes and plot holes which really are needed to be discussed, because without this discussion this is just a free, or we can say a green flag to all the upcoming mistakes and bigger plot holes that will really ultimately or inevitably destroy Baalveer 3. Now, of course, the one thing that we would really talk about is them not really caring about the past of Baalveer, which is really just mind-boggling, and we really don't know what they are trying to do with here. Now, of course, the ripping off of other shows isn't the big picture here, because these are things that could be discussed later on, because they just certainly have no idea how to you can say this how to navigate this show, and it really shows. So we have no idea why they are trying to go in this route, in this direction, when they could just very well be you can say renewing Parilok as a whole and then just destroying the previous Baalveer. Now, one thing's for sure, and we have this theory regarding the previous Baalveer, which could either be Vivan or Baalveer who was happy. Not happy, we're not talking about the feeling, we are talking about the person named Happy, the lookalike of Baalveer in Baalveer Returns, who probably was made Baalveer, or it could be Shashmar, and they hid this secret that Shashmar is the unknown Baalveer who was supposedly killed by Agil using this really powerful and weird looking weapon. We have no idea what it looks like. It just looks like a mixture of a bow, and then it has claws. It looks like a bone, and we have no idea what it does. And of course, Baalveer just downplays its power by just breaking it. Now, of course, if he was you can say if he was smart, or if he actually used his brain, he would have used that weapon to use it against Agil. Now, of course, we see that these two traitors, who are rightfully traitors, try to steal the most powerful weapon from Agil's castle, which is definitely Himbash Mahal, and we see that they try to steal it to become the most powerful you can say beings on the universe, and they get caught, which is, well, they are just silly characters, and when the silly characters do silly things, they die. And we see that Agil, who just is publicly giving them a lesson, or we can't say that it is a life steal, because it just isn't. They just burst into rocks, and they just are evaporated, and they perish with the use of Mahajadu, which is a cube. And we have no idea why they call it Mahajadu when they could have just called it any good name, not this goofy name being Mahajadu. And for some reason, these two traitors are really scared of Mahajadu, and they demand a clean death rather than a painful one, which is really funny, because that really isn't the case. Because Mahajadu just instantly kills them. It doesn't torture them. It doesn't make them miserable, and it doesn't put them in misery. And yes, we definitely saw what Tuyer is, you can say, portraying, and how she is giving us her expressions regarding these deaths of these traitors, and how she doesn't look really happy about it. And she is equally shocked, or not as equally shocked, because the other you can say commanders of Agil are really happy about this, because of course they should be. And then we see that Tuer isn't really happy. And yes, we are going to talk about this really messy situation here, which looks like we have no idea what it looks like. It looks like powder, red powder, as if it was meant to portray blood, or ash, or bloody ash, or red ash, or whatever it is. It doesn't look good. It actually looks like red velvet cake, really, or a red velvet topping, which of course is definitely a choice that they made. And of course, that isn't the thing that we all should be talking about. What we should be talking about is this really, you can say, weird tension between Tuer and Agil, and how she personally names her, how Agil personally names Tuer. And it just probably, and it definitely, you can say, it is symbolizing, or it isn't symbolizing. It actually is foreshadowing that Tuer is actually innocent, or she is really morally grey. And it really gives us the idea that she might have a good reason or a good character, but then we see that she dies in this episode. And it really is, you can say, disappointing, because now we have no one to root for, because up till now Tuer was the one person in Agil's team who we could have rooted for. And yes, we love Agil. There is no one who could say otherwise, that Agil isn't really one of the best, or you can say one of the only few best characters in Baalveer 3. And it will be really unfair to not appreciate her character, Agil's character, and her dress, which is definitely it is different from all of the other blunt dresses, which are just really mediocre, and they really don't have that much to them, because they all are same. They all have this leather strap, this really tough material of leather, and these gold linings, and these details which really look uncomfortable, and they look really they were definitely sweaty, and they look like they give them a hard time, because summer is here, and we have no idea how they are going to withstand the heat that they are going to face and feel, because this is really having a heavy toll on all of these actors and of course actors and artists, because these costumes take a lot of time to put on, and each time they really have to redress themselves. It definitely takes hours and hours of makeup and dress up. So it could have been really simple and everyone would have loved it, but they had to go over the top. And we all know that actors and actresses feel really uncomfortable in these types of clothing, and the only comfortable clothing that we can see is definitely worn by Kashvi and all of the earthly characters, which is really disappointing, because everyone deserves, all of the characters at least deserve a good costume which is comfortable, so that they feel comfortable to film their scenes in. So of course that is one thing that should be it should be looked, or it should be overlooked. It shouldn't be overlooked, and it should be paid a lot of attention to. Now of course we are going to talk about Sheshmar's reaction to Baalveer breaking the weapon that killed the previous Baalveer, which really, if they really did their good job, if they really did a great job regarding the direction of this episode, then we get these expressions and impressions. Sheshmar has a past and he is suffering with PTSD and trauma regarding that weapon, and it really just shows us that he really is scared of that weapon, and it really gives us an idea that there is some undiscovered past of Sheshmar that needs to be discovered. And of course we will discover it when they come face to face to Agil. And of course it is really an interesting storyline, and of course it will be episode 5 where we get to see, or you can say it could very well be episode 4. So it isn't an interesting thing. And yes, we have named all of our characters, that are Kinkuri, Dilak, Maha Adishi, who is Baalveer's mother in this universe, and we have Mahamahim Uttan, and we have Sheshmar, who is an anti-Baalveer character. And on the evil side, actually, yeah, we have to say. So on the evil side, we have Agil, and then we have Tuer, or she is just morally grey, but as of now, she is on the evil side. And we have Andher and the unnamed villain, and this evil character who is still yet to be named, or her name, we have looked up her name and we still couldn't find what her name is. So we have to look harder to get an idea of her name. And then we have Kashvi, who is definitely the protagonist, or that is going to play the role of a protagonist in Baalveer's life, and she is actually going to be the one friend that Baalveer needs to earn his powers back. And along with Baalveer's powers, Kashvi will definitely get her powers, and if that rumor is true, then she might as well turn evil, because Kashvi is actually the daughter of Tuer and Babil. So realizing and knowing, and after finding this secret, or it isn't a secret because she doesn't really, it isn't known, so it will be really interesting to see Kashvi's reaction, knowing that it was Baalveer who she helped gain powers back, that killed his mother, her mother and her father. So both of her parents' death is on Baalveer's hands, and we are really excited to see how this goes on, and it will really be an interesting story. And we really hope that this story progresses through time, with all of the episodes, and it is going to be a bumpy ride for all Baalveer fans because there is a lot of fun and entertainment hidden in these episodes, and we really hope that these episodes increase with time. So from 2 we might get the episode number to 7. Subscribe our channel and watch these Baalveer episodes only on Magic World, where new Baalveer episodes are daily uploaded with new ideas, only for the true Baalveer fans who want to experience the wonders of Baalveer that are brought to you by Magic World. Take care of yourself and be happy.